Welcome back. So this is part 2 of our tutorial series Ajax Pagination, and as the initial project setup, I created a directory here by name Ajax underscore pagination in the root directory, that is htdocs, and we have 3 folders here: CSS, fonts and JS, and they are all part of Twitter Bootstrap. Once you download and unzip your Twitter Bootstrap files, you'll get all these 3 directories. And then we have Ajax underscore pagination.php file, which we'll be working on. So I'm going to open this project in Sublime Text, and inside Ajax underscore pagination.php file we have a basic HTML structure here with JQuery library in the header section here included, and then we have place to write our jQuery code, that is document.ready function. Then we have a div here by name id container. Inside that we have a h1 tag for heading. Then we have a bunch of other div tags to display all our pagination data, and these files are all associated with Twitter Bootstrap, as you can see here. And then I created a database table by name feedback under the database name test. You can see here it's pretty basic with all the 4 fields here: feedback ID, name, feedback, and feedback date. If you want a SQL query to create this table and populate with the data as shown here, I'll post the SQL query in my website, and you will find a link in the description of this video. So the first thing we need to do is to get the total number of rows in our database table. So for that I'm going to this Ajax underscore pagination.php file, and in the top here I'm going to require a file, that is require once row count.php. Okay, so we had to create this file now. Okay, so inside that I'm going to create a function by name row count, and I'm going to paste some code here. Okay, I pasted some database connection code. This is nothing much. You can see here these are constants, and this is where the actual database connection happens inside the try catch. And then we have an empty try catch where we'll be writing our SQL queries. Okay, so what I'm going to do is have a variable by name SQL, and our query is going to be select star from feedback. Now we need to execute this query, right? So I'm going to have a statement here, and then this is going to be this db, sorry about this, it's going to be db query, right? And we have this query in the variable SQL, and then we are going to call another function, that is row count. Okay, so it's going to be row count. This is an SQL function to return the number of rows from the database table. So what we are going to do is to check if there is any row count, means if there is any data available. Okay, then we'll return the row count, and if there is no data, then we'll just return false. Okay, so we need to test this now. So back here we'll just do echo row count. Okay, I'm sorry, this is not a variable, right? It's a function. So we require the file row count, then we are calling the function row count, right? So we'll test this out now. Okay, you guys might have seen here we got the answer 8, right? So far it's working fine. So back here in Ajax underscore pagination.php file, we are going to have an array in JQuery. Okay, so that's going to be, it's going to be an empty array data. Then we are going to pass some values to it. Okay, so this is going to be pagination, and in here I'm going to give a class name of the div, okay, that is display. You can see here. So this is where we are going to display our pagination. Okay, then we are going to have pagination underscore data, and this is where we are going to display the contents of our pagination. Okay, and that is going to be display underscore data. You can see here this div. Okay, and then it's going to be pagination position, and that's going to hold a div with id position. Okay, so it's going to be position, and then we need one more parameter, that is total records. Okay, so this total records is going to be the total number of rows available in our database. So what I'm going to do here in top is, here back in our PHP section, I'm going to assign this to a variable total records. Okay, so what I had to do now is paste that here, but remember this is jQuery section, so we had to do something like this. Okay, this is the way we include our PHP file, PHP section within jQuery or JavaScript, wherever you want to do that. And then we have one more parameter, that is records per page. Okay, and we had total of 8 records, right? So I want to have like 2 pages, I mean 2 records in each pagination. Okay, so then we are going to call a function and pass this pagination and pass this argument data. Okay, now we had to create this function pagination. Okay, we are going to include a file here in the top, and that's going to be, we'll call this pagination.js. Okay, before that I had to rectify a small mistake. This here should be data. Okay, it's not total. Sorry about that. So we are going to create this function pagination underscore js now. Sorry, pagination.js, right? So it's going to be pagination.js, and inside that I'm going to have a function pagination, and this is going to take data as argument. Remember, we have that data passed here. Okay, so what I have to do now is to check whether these two values are available. Okay, here for our data. So the way we are going to achieve that is by if data of total records. Okay, so if there is total records, then we'll just check that out by printing that in console, right? So it's going to be data of total records, and then we'll also assign that to a variable total records. Okay, so this is going to be data of total records. So we'll test this out now. We should get total records, right? So I'm going to open the console now here. Alright guys, we got the answer 8, right, which is total records. So we are able to successfully pass the argument to this part, right, to this function pagination. And so I'm going to copy this once again, and then we need to check for records per page. Okay, so I just had to change that here. So that's going to be records per page everywhere, right? So we could even test this out. Yeah, we got the answer too, right? So both these are working fine, and the next step, we need to get the total number of pages available in our pagination, and to calculate that we are going to create a function called total pages, and we are going to pass the same data as argument. Okay, so now we had to create this function total pages. So it's going to be function total pages, and the way we are going to calculate that is by dividing records per page from total records. Okay, so first we had to check whether we have records per page and total records set. For that I'm going to once again copy this part. Okay, and then our total pages is going to be total records divided by records per page. It's going to be records per page, and we don't want this in any decimal values, right? So we'll use this math.ceil function. Okay, that should cover, we won't get any floating point values here. And then all we had to do is just return total records, total pages, right? So in order to test this out, we'll do console.log. Okay, and I'll do something like total pages and we'll give the variable here. Okay, so let's try this now. Okay, we got this total page as 4, and if you're thinking how we got this answer, we have total number of records as 8, and we need 2 pages, right? 2 records in each page, so it's going to be 8 divided by 2, and that is going to give us 4. Okay, so that is working fine, and we don't need this console here. And now we have to calculate current pages. Okay, and that we are going to do by, we also don't need this line. So where we are going to current page, we are going to calculate current pages by calling a function current page, and we are again going to pass the same data as argument. Okay, so we had to create this function now current page, that's going to be function current page, right? So the way we do this is by calling data current page. Don't worry about this, this will all make sense in a minute. Okay, you'll also do one more change here in top, that is, instead of giving current page, I'll do this as data of current page. Okay, it's an array, And so if it is set, then we'll assign that to a variable, okay, current page. If that is not the case, then we are going to have current page equal to nothing, okay. Then up here we also need total pages, okay, to calculate the current page, and that is simple. We already created a function total pages, right? So we just need to call that function again. We already did that here, remember? So this way we are going to get total pages. Now if current page equal to nothing, or current page less than 1, or current page greater than total pages, in all the scenarios we'll make this current page as 1, okay, and then we'll return the current page itself, right? And if that is not the case, then we'll again return the current page. So what this means is if we have the current page already set, then we'll return that directly, okay. That is, I can take hint here, this data of current page, okay. If it is already set, then we'll return that here. If that is not the case, we are just going to set the current page as 1, okay. So this is how this whole thing is going to work, and so we had to test this now, okay. It's here in the top, right, data of current page. So we'll just print this in console, okay. Okay, we got this answer as 1 because we haven't set any current page yet, okay. So it's always going to be 1. Now I'll assign this data of current page to a variable called current page, okay. And we need to delete this part, okay. Then one thing I forgot to mention is we are checking here for total records and records per page, right? And if that is not the case, we had to display a message in console, okay, and that's going to be total records not configure, okay. And likewise, and here going to be console.log, and it's going to be records per page not configure. And then another thing we had to do is we had to return this false because we don't have these values. We had to, after displaying the error message in console, we had to stop any further execution, okay. So we'll return that false even here as well for records per page. Now we had to calculate the present position of our pagination, okay. That can do by just calling a function position, and we'll pass the same data as argument. So we had to create this function now position. So the way we are going to do that is by having our function here position data, and first thing we had to check is to see whether we have total records. Okay, so we have this total records part here, right? So I'll take this and paste here. So this way we have total records, and other than that we also have to check for records per page. Even that we can copy from here. Okay, so after checking whether these two values are available, first thing we need is total pages. Remember, we already have this total pages function created, so all we have to do is just call that to a variable. Okay, that way we are going to have total pages in our pagination in this variable here. And likewise for current page, we already created a function, right? Current page, again we can pass the same data as argument. As you can see here, we have this function here, right? Current page. It's just going to return the current page since it is available, or else it's going to return as what we call that 1. Okay, and now we had to calculate the current position. Okay, for that, if data of pagination position. Okay, I know this is not available yet, but we'll fix that. Okay, so it's going to be, I'm going to do that as pagination underscore position, so just a variable. Okay, and we'll assign this data of, if it is available, right, pagination position. Okay, and if it is not available, I mean data of pagination position, then we'll have pagination position. Could do one thing, we can just display a message. Okay, we don't have to do anything. It's going to be console.log. We'll say something like pagination position. Okay, not configured. So we are curious about what is this pagination position. Let me explain that to you now. Here, do you remember this part here, data of pagination position, right? So it's actually a div. Okay, it's an ID of the div position. Okay, so it's nothing much. We're just checking whether it is set, and then we are going to use our JQuery, usual JQuery. Okay, selector going to be pagination position, the same variable, right? We are assigning here dot HTML, and first I'm going to just give a line break. Okay, and then we'll have span with class label, and then label hyphen success. Okay, and guys, don't worry much about this part because these are all part of Twitter Bootstrap. Okay, so there is really nothing much to worry about. So we open here and we are closing that here. Okay, and then we'll do this concatenation and give our current page. Okay, so it's going to be current page. Again, I'll do a slash here. Again, we will do concatenation and give total pages. Okay, so this is going to be before. We had to just close that span we opened previously, right? And again I'm going to give a line break once again. And if you guys are wondering what this really is, sorry, I think something gone wrong here. Okay, so after total pages, again I'm going to concatenate and close the span element, and then BR, okay, a line break. So that is all we need to do here. Okay, you can see here we don't have any current page is going to be 1 always, and the total pages is 4, right? So we are having this current page position displayed in the div with id position. Okay, and you can see here they are nicely styled, and that's because we have used all the Twitter bootstrap classes. Okay, so back here in our pagination function, the next function we need to call is pagination controls. Okay, so this is actually going to display all our pagination controls. Okay, and it is going to take two arguments, that is current page and total pages. Okay, so we had to create this function now, that is pagination controls. So I create this right here. Okay, function pagination controls, and in there first we are going to set previous page, okay, in a variable. Okay, so that's going to be previous page will be always current page -1, right? And then we need the next page, and the next page is always going to be current page +1, right? Alright, now I'm going to declare a variable called page, where we are actually going to display our pagination controls. Okay, and that's going to be we're going to do lots of Twitter bootstrap thing here. Okay, so nothing much to worry about. It's going to be nav, then we're going to open an ordered list, and we're going to give a class for that. The class name is going to be pagination. Okay, and we close this, and again we'll start that. Okay, because I don't want to make the line too bigger to handle. Okay, so this time we are going to concatenate li. Okay, after here it will be li most of the time, and then we are going to have href that will just it's nothing, we just need to hash that, and we'll give ADL label. Okay, these are all Twitter bootstrap, so you don't have to worry about this. You can check in their documentation itself if you want. And this is going to be previous. Okay, if you look in Twitter bootstrap, this pagination styling part, you'll see this exact same line. I just copied from there. Okay, and I'm going to give one extra class called first here. Okay, and then it's going to be span, and this time it's going to be hidden. All these I just copied from Twitter bootstrap. Okay, just going through their documentation, so nothing like something out serious thing to handle. True. And then okay, here is the best part. Okay, we opened this anchor tag right here, and we had to close that as well, right? So I'm closing that, then I'll be also closing the li element, and then in here I'm going to give double less than, okay, it means first page, okay. In our pagination we can write first if we want, but I just like to use this symbol here, okay. And then I'm going to check for current page, okay, this current page variable. If current page is less than or equal to 2, no, greater than or equal to 2, okay, which means it is most of the time greater than 1, right? It's not in the first page. In that case, I'm again going to use the same page to concatenate, okay. And in this case I'm going to give li, okay, we had to add quotes here, right? So it's going to be li. Again we are going to use char f, and again now we'll just put hash there. Again all this data bootstrap stuffs here, and this time I will give previous class equal to previous, okay. And then we have to close that with a tag, and then I will also give span, okay. Hidden equal to true, and then we have to close our anchor tag, right? So, and then we also have to close our li element. All that is done, but in here between these two I'm going to give less than symbol once, and this is going to denote to previous page, okay. This is symbol for previous, and this double is symbol for first page, okay, in our pagination. So we're just displaying the previous and the first button through our pagination, right? And then so we have that current page, you know, all this happens when it is more than 1. And another thing we had to do is start page, okay. So when this start page is 1, we are just giving as 1, okay. And then we are going to give page number as 1 as well. So we are just initializing some variable here, and then we're going to check for current page, okay. Current page pg, okay. Forgot to mention one thing, guys. All these are pg, okay. I don't want to get confused here. We could give anything we want, it's up to us. Even here I'll give as pg, okay, just for variation. And so yeah, so if current page, sorry, I haven't done that yet. So if current page is less than or equal to total pages, and the current page is greater than start page, plus 2, okay. In this scenario, which means, you know, the current page never exceeds the total pages, and current page is greater than start page, that's the idea, okay. And plus 2 records in this case, so we're going to have something like start page equal to current page minus 2. If you're wondering what this means, sorry about this. Guys, in our pagination we are going to display like from the current page we are going to display two pages on the left and two page on the right, okay, which means something like if you're in page 3 you will get 1 and 2 on the left and 4 and 5 on the right side. Anything beyond that we are not going to display, okay. So what we're doing here is to make sure our start page is always current page minus 2, okay. And again we are going to do one more checking similar one, that is if current page less than or equal to total pages and current page great less than total pages, okay, minus 2. So this was for left side displaying pages, right, and this might be for right side, okay. So in this situations from the current page we need to display two pages, right. So I'm going to put this as a variable called end page will. So page always starts from start page. In our pagination it ends with end page, okay. Current page plus 2, but this plus has some kind of concatenation meaning in JavaScript, right. So to fix that issue we are going to do like parse int, okay. So it's going to be parse int. This way it will make sure this is not a string and it is an integer, okay. This is important or else it won't work. It will take something like string, okay. It will consider this current page as string. So in order to fix that issue we are just doing that, okay. If that is not the case, okay, in that scenario we can give the end page equal to just total pages, okay. Let's say you have like 5 pages in your pagination, and if your end pages let's current pages like 4, then we can't display 2 pages because there is no 6, right. You had to display 5 and 6, but there is no page 6, so you should have end page 2 total pages, okay. And that's it there. And now I'm again going to use, remember we are doing most of the assigning this stuff in a variable called page, right, for all our styling purpose. And then I'm going to do some spacing in BSP, okay. So it's going to be ampersand, right. So we do spacing. So copy this into once again we give 2 space there. You don't have to do all this, but I'm doing to get a perfect alignment on pagination. Now we are going to display that, okay, our data, pagination. It's going to be start page, okay, a loop. We're going to start with start page and then the start page less than or equal to end page, right. So that is going to display all the pages we need, and then start page plus plus, okay. So inside that we had to do some checking, okay. We are going to check whether the current page equal to start page, and if current page is equal to start page we just had to display the button, right. So it's all available in this variable page, okay, all the Twitter bootstrap stuff. So I'm going to do concatenation once again, and I'm going to do li class class is going to be active space link disabled. I'll explain this, okay, in a minute, don't worry. And then href, that's going to be just, we are going to hash that. Then we'll close that part. Then we'll do concatenation and we'll display the start page, okay. Again we will start with some kind of span. All these are part of Twitter Bootstrap. You could even use, just display these variables directly and see for yourself if you are getting confused here. It's going to be a star hyphen only. Trust me, I don't even know what are these. These are just part of Twitter Bootstrap I am copying directly. I'll do something like current, okay. I'm just displaying this /span. We are closing our anchor tag and live element here. /align. That's it. So the idea is to display the start page, okay, in our pagination. And what happened there is we are enclosing that in an li element, and inside that we have a hyperlink, right, with hash. And this link disabled actually means, according to Twitter Bootstrap, this class is actually going to make our link disabled, okay. So it looks like a disabled format when they display this in our pagination. So there is nothing much to talk about that. And then back here we had to do an else, okay. This is if we are in the first record of the page, right? If that is not the case, again I will do this page equal to page. We are just concatenating everything to this one variable, okay. So this is going to be a lie. Again it's going to have href deep inside that, and then we are going to have a class link active, okay. I mean, if you are not in first page, then you should have an active link there, right? Something like that. So it's going to be, so it's a variable, right? So start page, and then we're going to close our anchor and li, okay. It's just for the sake of changing the class we are using this if condition, okay. If it is in first page, that is start page, and current page, I mean the current page and the start page are same, we don't want that link to be active. That's what we are doing here, okay. If that is not the case, we are just going to display all the active links. I'll just copy this part. And after this for loop is over, we are at to here, right? After this if condition, okay, I'm going to put that here, and then again I'm going to do an if. This time we are going to check for current page. Now guys, I made a mistake again, I believe here, right? It's supposed to be PG, right? And back here we're going to have like current pages greater than 40 pages, okay. So here we checked for start page, current page and start page, right? And here we are checking for whether this current page is less than total pages. In that case, again we are going to use our variable here. It keeps storing all the data, remember, in this variable. So here I'm going to give a lie. If you're confused too much about this whole part, don't worry, because At the end I will explain this complete code. Okay, so it's going to be label. These are all part of Twitter Bootstrap. Once again, previous, and this class is going to be next. Then I'm going to open a span again. I think I should have just copy and paste this whole code instead of doing this stuff here, and we are going to close that here, right? And again we are going to close the li. And what I want to mention here is between this anchor tag here we are going to put this greater than symbol, which means it's next. Okay, in previous here we did for this is for first page, and this is for this single one is for previous, right? And this is going to be for next page. Okay, so this current page is less than total page, then we had to display the next page, right? And that is what we did right here. And then again we are going to use our page, okay, variable here, and again we are going to once again do all this. Yeah, I'm going to copy the same, just we are giving 2 space, okay, 2 character space there. And then so back here we displayed, if you look here, first we displayed this, what we call that previous button, right? No, first then previous, then we displayed next, right? And so the next control is going to be the last button, right? So that we are going to do now. So it's going to be page equal to page concatenation. Again I'm going to start this whole thing, okay. That's going to be a lie. Again we are going to open this href, we'll hash that, and some Twitter Bootstrap, okay, styling, and this is something like previous, okay. Give the class name as last. This second class here, class last, next, these are not part of Twitter Bootstrap, okay. This I'm just giving for our own manipulation later in jQuery, okay. Then we have span hidden true, okay. And after closing that, we had to close our anchor tag and li element. And once we are done that, so between here, between the anchor tag, the text is going to be double greater than, right? So this indicates the last button in our pagination. So once we are done with that, we had to, if you look here in top, we started with UL, right? And we go all the way up, we started here NAV, right, with UL elements. So we had to close these two now. So that we are going to do now. We are just going to close that, okay. Going to be page plus, so I had to close that UL element, and then I had to close nav, okay. So I think we saved everything in this variable page, right? Let me explain that to you now. So what we did is we are taking these two arguments, current page and total pages, and these are self-explanatory, right? Previous and current page. Then we start here, right, with navigation, which are part of Twitter Bootstrap, and we are ending that here. And inside that we have UL elements, and think about each UL element as pagination part. So first thing we are checking is going to display is this first button, okay, no pagination, and it's all these are just part of Twitter Bootstrap. We don't have to worry, okay. Only thing you have to think about is this is not part of Twitter Bootstrap. I gave this here class first and then class previous, and then we are deep here. We are displaying all our other pagination stuff, okay. I mean, we are calculating the start and the end record, right, using current if current page is less than total pages, less than or equal to total pages, and current page is greater than start page plus 2. We are giving current page, start page equal to current page minus 2, and that's how we are calculating the start page. If that is not the case, it's always going to be start page is 1, right? Even this and then we are doing this end page, right? End page we are calculating the same way, that is current page is less than total page, but current page is also less than total page is minus 2. In this scenario we are going to have the end page value stored, right, with plus 2. If that is not the case, we are just going to give that as total pages end page, and then using that we are using a for loop here to display all the pages, right? And even there we are checking for whether it is the current page. If the start page is equal to current page, we are having a disabled link, and if that is not the case, we are going to display an active link, right? And then here again we are checking for whether other current pages less than total pages, and we are displaying the previous button. If current page is equal to total pages, you don't have to even display the previous page, right? There is no page after that. And if that is, and then we are also again displaying this last page here, right? Last page symbol here. So that is it. And so this should give us our pagination thing. Now we had to, everything is in this variable page, right? So back outside this for loop, and still while we are inside the loop, I'm going to do another calculation, that is current page, it's pg, right? I keep forgetting that. And if this current page is equal to total pages, okay, which means your current page is the last record, just, it's not necessary, but I'm just doing that, okay. We're just going to display something like we have reached the end of record. I'm going to put br here twice, okay, and I just say, well, you have reached the end of record. So after that we had to display that, right? So if data of pagination, and if you're wondering what is this all about, let me show you that. Here in our Ajax pagination, do you see here data of pagination, and we're giving a class name display, right, which is right here. So this is where we are going to display our pagination. So they are checking whether the div class dot display is available, okay. We're just checking that here, and if that is the case, we are going to have another variable here, and that variable is going to have this class name of the div, right? We are sending that here. If that is not the case, we're just going to display error message, that is pagination element is pagination element not figured, right? So giving these things will help the end user to identify what they made wrong here. Okay, and now remember we have everything we need to display for pagination in this variable page, right? So all we got to do at the end is just to display this pagination, and pagination.html, right? Sorry, it's a variable here, right? So this dot display is available here in this variable, and inside that we are just going to display our page, right? And guys, one thing I forgot to mention, I made a mistake here. Okay, this for loop shouldn't be ending here. Instead it should end right after the else statement. Okay, I really apologize for that. This is actually the part where we are going to display all the page numbers of our pagination, right? And before for loop we are displaying this next first 10 previous button, and after that inside the for loop we are going to display all the pages in our pagination, right? All the page links with page number, and then back below that we are going to display what next and last button, right? So this cannot be in loop, only this displaying pages part should be the for loop. Okay, so finally we have everything in this page variable, and then we are displaying in this way using this selector pagination, which is actually dot display class which we configured in the start, right? So let's give this a try now. Okay, you guys can see here we have we are in the first record. We have totally 4 pages, but we are in the first record, and the second and the third pages are displayed on the right side. There is nothing to display on the left, and okay, it's not moving because we don't have any click event yet, which we'll be doing now. So back here inside our pagination function, okay, okay, so we'll do something like this. It's dot link active, okay, dot click function. So if you guys are wondering where did we get this link underscore active, let's go to our pagination control, and we'll see yeah, you can see here active link, right? I mean, if the current page is equal to start page, that is a link disabled class, right? But if it is an active class, link active, I mean, if it is not the current page, we have the class link active, right? So when we click that page, what needs to be happen is, so remember this current page is always going to be 1 in our previous case, in our previous cases, because we don't have any current page value, so it's always 1. But this time we can change that. We have a chance to change that here in link. Okay, so it's going to be this .html. okay, so what happens is, so what is this is actually a class link active, right? So when you click link active, it's going to find the HTML part of that link active, and let's see what we have there. Where is that for loop? Yeah, we have link active, right? So whatever this page number here is the HTML, right, of link active. So that is going to be assigned to the current page, which means if you click on page 2, you're going to get page 2 as the current page value, right? we can even do one more thing, that is data of current page. Okay, so this data of current page is the same current page. Okay, so if you're wondering what is this data of current page, we had to go to the function current page which we previously typed, and you can see here we are checking whether if there is current page set, right? And that is never set in the initially when the page loads, but when we click we can set that value, right? So that is what we did here. And then we are going to call the function pagination. We are calling from within the same function here, right? But that's okay, we had to call that, we have no other option, and we just pass this data again. So what happens is whenever we click, not only we are setting the current page value, but we are also calling the pagination. So that helps us to, you know, reload everything without page refresh through Ajax call. Okay, so we have this pagination data, and let's see how that favors now. Okay, when I click page 2, can see here we got page 2, and you can also see here previously in first page we had 2 and 3. When I click page 2, we got 2 pages, right, on this side, that is 3 and 4. And if I click on fourth page, you can see here we got 2 and 3 but not first page. And all this magic happens because of, let me show you that part here, this do if condition. Okay, part is fine now. What we did so far is activate the click event on these page numbers, right? But now we had to activate click event on these controls, and we have that first page symbol here, but it's not properly formatted, right? Let's go and check that first. So we are in the, this is the part, right? Okay guys, the problem was right here. I think I didn't close this part here, right? So let's take a look here back in our demo. Okay, we got that set perfect here now. So now we had to think about this page. It got a class first, right? So we are going to do the same. I'm going to copy this whole thing, paste, and this is going to be first, right? So let's see what we can do here on the first page. This time when we click first, we're going to set the current page to 1, right? So it's always going to be 1 when you click the first, right? And then that's it. We just had to do only that. So let's test this out now. So I'll refresh this page once, and if I click this first, right, it goes to 1. So that is working perfect. And you can see here this keep changing, right? Whenever we change that, because we are changing the value for current page, even the value is adjusted here automatically. So next thing we are going to do is for the last button, this button, okay, click event. Even that you can just copy, and I'll do this as last, right? So here CC, all you have to do is give this total pages. And if you're wondering from where we get this total pages, we are calculating that already here, calling the function, right? So we just have to do that change, and likewise we'll also do for previous. Okay, and previous is going to be, we got a class called previous, and so there the current page is going to be always current page minus 1. Okay, so current page minus 1, and just to be on the safer side, we'll do pass. Okay, make sure this is an integer. It's not required here, we are not using any concatenation plus symbol, but still we'll just use this here. Okay, and I think that's it. Everything should work now. So we don't have any previous button here, right? So we'll go to some other page, and we are in page 3 now. So when we click previous, yeah, we got to second page, right? So we got decremented to one page, and the next stuff is to, so this was for previous button, and now we have this next button, right? So next is going to be it's going to be always current page plus 1. So we'll test that out as well. So we are in page 1, and when we click next, we got to page 2. So our pagination class is working fine. Guys, if you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and also like this video. And in the next part, we will integrate database to our pagination. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next part. Thanks for your time.